Hello, welcome to the Aquarian Mind podcast. Today's podcast, episode number 354. I'm your host, Jamel Crothers. It's Book Insight Friday, but today will not be the last book of A Woman's Worth. It will be my newest book that is coming out on May 23rd. And it's called You Are Not Behind in Life. You guys know I write on social issues, and this was an idea that came to me quite a while ago, and I know that this was important for me to write a book on this, and I felt really good writing a book like this. I wrote it last summer for a good measure, and I definitely had fun with it. We tend to really think that we are behind in life, and in reality, we really aren't. We are on a journey to getting to where we want to be, and we get there when we're supposed to be. We tend to rush things a lot of times, and we want things when we want things, and that's not always how it goes. It's not always, as easy as we think. And sometimes things take longer than what it should. But if we take our time and we let the process play itself out, we get to where we're supposed to be. I will go out on a limb and say that I have rushed my life a lot, and I am guilty of doing certain things to try to get results in what I want because I want it right away, or, this is when it's supposed to happen, or whatever the case is. And that's not always the most productive way to do things. Now, this is another standalone book that I felt I needed to write. And it's, me watching my friends move out on their own and buy cars and have kids and do all the things that we as adults do. And to write a book like this, I had to reflect back on experiences in my life and incorporate them into this book. And I wrote this book in an interesting way, where there are two main characters and two supplemental characters. Now, there's Kenneth and Paul, and Kenny is writing his story of watching his close friends continue to move forward in their lives, and the same with Simone and Carly in the story. Now, Kenneth and Simone will learn their best friends are living a life of struggle, insecurities, and it's not what they think their best friends' lives are. The goal of this book is to get everyone to understand and realize that life isn't easy and people's stories are more complicated than we think, and that social media and pictures doesn't show all of what's going on behind the scenes of people's lives. Social media is a highlight reel of, people's best moments, and that's pretty much the majority of what people's posts are. And we lose a sense of that, along with what it takes for people to get to where they are. And we don't always know who's dealing with a lot in their lives until we have those in-depth conversations with what's going on, right? So I will admit this was one of my favorite books to write in the past few months. So I hope that you will take the time to check it out, read it, enjoy it, give me your input, insight, because I put a good amount of time into writing this book. And the ebooks will be available on Barnes & Noble's, Apple, Kobo, Scribd, and a couple of other bookstores. The paperbacks will actually be available on Amazon, but not right away. That's going to take a little bit of time, but it will be available on the book patch on release day, which will be on May 23rd. So let's let's delve into the synopsis of this book real quick, and then I'm going to give you chapter rundown, and then I will read a chapter to give you a feel for what this book is going to consist of. So, Simone is watching her friends experience their proudest moments in life, from getting married to having children. She's starting to feel she's behind in life because she hasn't achieved the status of where her closest friends are. It isn't until her best friend Carly shares some deep parts of her life that puts things in perspective for Simone and makes her realize that life is a journey of growth and knowing that everyone's time comes when it's supposed to. Kenneth is in his late 30s and trying to find his way through a world where men are judged by their social status, what career they have, and where they are in life. He feels like an outcast out of his group of friends, but his best friend Paul shares his struggles that he deals with and goes through, and it makes Kenneth realize that life isn't what he thinks it is when it comes to his closest male friends. Sometimes we think we're behind people in life, but the reality is we don't know everyone's stories of how they got to where they are, which is what I just pretty much broke down in a nutshell. I forgot that I kind of put that part in my synopsis, but anyway. All right, so here's a breakdown of chapters, right? So the first half of this book is Simone and Carly's story. So it starts with Simone's story, and it's the wedding, pregnancies and baby showers, when is my time coming, where have I gone wrong, money and material things don't matter, feeling lost, and what's next for me. And then Carly kind of shares her story, which is 2 chapters of Carly talking to Simone. The conversation, my truth, every journey is different. And then the last 2 chapters of this first half of Simone is healing before happiness and what I've learned. The second part of the book will be Kenneth's story, which in short, Kenny. It's the vacation, the outcast, single life, everyone is ahead of me, depression, anxiety, and loneliness, who to turn to. And then there's 2 chapters where Paul is talking about his life, what my life truly is, rewinding time. And then the last 3 chapters will be Kenny, which is mental focus and purpose, and no more complaining, which is that's 2 chapters. My apologies. The last part of my book is all of my social media stuff. All right. So let's read Simone's story, the wedding. I remember the day my best friend Carly got married. It was one of the most beautiful days I can recall. She was gorgeous and glowing. Everyone couldn't take their eyes off of her. As I sat at a wedding as a single woman, I couldn't help but think, when will my time come? Will I ever find the true love of my life? After the wedding vows, the kiss, the introductions to everyone, then watching the slow dances between the parents, I faded off into the back. I ate my food, talked with people at my table, but drifted off into deep thought. As dessert came and people moved their way to the dance floor, I watched people in enjoyment. I was happy for my best friend. I had watched her go through relationship struggles, along with disappointments and heartbreaks, so she deserves the best. I watched her fall in love, and deep in my heart, I wish it was me. I wish I was the one who met the man of my dreams and was deeply in love. I long for someone who will hold me and tell me everything is going to be okay. It's where my mind drifted off to as one song after another played at the wedding. As friends of mine tried to get me on the dance floor, I wasn't feeling it. There was a moment of sadness that I didn't exude but felt inside. The wedding was beautiful, special for a woman who has been through a lot. I've known Carly since high school. We went to the same college together. We would dorm with each other every year, graduate together. We dated the wrong guys, partied a little, but stayed focused on the end goal, a bachelor's degree. These are the things that would flash in my mind as I watched the strobe lights to certain songs play at her wedding. The laughter, the smiles as I watched in awe of how beautifully in love she was with her now husband. I always envisioned us both meeting someone at the same time. The men would become best friends and plan this journey of getting engaged at the same time. How we would both get married around the same time and have kids. They would be either the same age or at least a year or 2 apart. It's how we envision our lives, but fate and destiny, it doesn't work that way. As I finally found my way to the dance floor, I tried to forget about what I was thinking about. I wanted to get these thoughts off of my mind. It was hard to do it. It wasn't that I was jealous of my best friend. I felt lost in the shuffle. Out of the crew of best friends from high school, I was now the last one single. The rest of the crew of 6 were all married at this point, and I was the odd woman out. As the wedding reception came to an end and the night was filled with laughter and love, there would be more special events I'd attend and feel out of place. So that's just a start of kind of this book and what it will be and what it will consist of. I can honestly write a whole book series on so many different aspects and certain situations that happen in life. A little bit of Kenny's story kind of is a little bit of mine, a little bit of kind of what I was dealing with, in my 30s, wondering like when my time was going to come for me to, branch out and do things that I want to do and live the life that I want. So definitely this is a book that will open some eyes and hopefully bring more conversations on our friendships and our relationships with each other, and how we feel inadequate at times. So I'm going to leave the link in the description for the ebook version, and I will try to leave the paperback version where it will be on the book patch. You can pre-order it right now for ebook. Paperbacks you can't, unfortunately, but it will release definitely on May 23rd. So that's my podcast for today, but before I go, I'm going to let you know that I will be on a break for a little bit. I sometimes need the break with my podcast and, being able to focus on other projects and other things. So my podcast will be returning on June 3rd, Monday, June 3rd. Also because I do alternating weeks, after this week with this podcast, there will, be the next set of writing and blogs that I post on my website. But that following week here in the United States, that Monday will be Memorial Day. And I don't think posting a podcast on Memorial Day is kind of the thing. And I've got some other things that I will be working on and focusing on. So Monday, June 3rd will be the restart of my podcast. All right, everyone. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. Have fun with life. Figure out all the goals and all the aspirations that you want to do, but also take time for yourself to enjoy time with you and your family. With that said, be good and go accomplish your goals.